Welcome everyone, and welcome to the Nordic Battery Dialogue here at the Expo in Osaka. On behalf of the Nordic Battery Collaboration, I wish to have a special welcome to our Japanese guests and dignitaries visiting us today. The Nordic Battery Collaboration is a collaboration between Business Finland, Business Sweden, and Innovation Norway to strengthen and support the battery value chain in the Nordics. And the team, the Nordic Battery team, could you please raise your hands so everyone see who you are? And give them a big applause because they've been doing great work. My name is Desiree Vikse. I work for Innovation Norway, which is one of the trade promotion organizations in Norway. Japan and the Nordics, we already have a lot of common goals in the green transition and electrification. We already have bilateral and multilateral agreements, and today we have the chance to find out how we can deepen this collaboration. So I hope you will learn from each other, talk to each other, exchange business cards, and take part in our network event after this seminar. So, shall we just get started? And by this, I will introduce Cecilia Ekholm, Commissioner General from Sweden, to Expo. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will give you a brief introduction to the Nordic Pavilion. But before that, some very important practical issues. In the unlikely event of an emergency, as they say, you will have an emergency exit here to the left, go out and down the stairs that you came up. We also have stairs in the back of the restaurant, so you can also exit there and go out at the back of the pavilion. If you need a technical break, you can go out through that door, take the left, and you will find the restrooms. But now, about the Nordic Pavilion. You may ask yourself, why Nordic? And that is a very good question. We actually had our very first Nordic Pavilion here in Osaka at the World Exhibition in 1970. We also had a Nordic Pavilion in Aichi in 2005. But that's not really why we're doing it Nordic. We're doing it Nordic because we think this is the best way we can show how we can contribute to the Expo theme of designing the future of our lives. We do this because we want to showcase trust, innovation, sustainability, and collaboration. Trust, because trust is the very glue that we need in relationships, be it individual, as citizens, organizations, or between countries. Innovation, because that's where the future lies. Sustainability, because we want to hand over a world to our children and future generations that we want to live in ourselves. And collaboration, because that's basically the only way that we're going to be able to do that. So that is our main purpose of a Nordic Pavilion. We also, of course, this is Japan, and we want to connect the Nordics and Japan. So you will see a Nordic-Japanese connection in many different places in this pavilion. If you go into the exhibition hall, you will see that our exhibition hall is based on a gigantic swirl or a ring, our Nordic Circle of Trust. That is based on the Japanese Enso ring or Enso circle, which is a symbol for perfection and imperfection, for the cycle of life, and for interconnectivity. You will also see us showing the Nordic nature, because we know that there is also a great connection to nature in Japan, or how we are all affected to the forces of nature, as we are in the Nordics, as in Japan. You will see the connection between the Nordics and Japan in our Nordic food bar, where you will have Nordic dishes with a Japanese twist, and you will see it here in what I like to call our very heart of the pavilion, where we meet each other and we will talk and discuss. So this is our conference center. We have events here almost every day. About 10 of them are Nordic, as we do today with the Nordic Battery Day. And this is where, as was said before, we have the opportunity to interact, exchange, learn from each other, find new relationships or deepens the one we already have. And we have an opportunity to talk about the great challenges of the future and the opportunities. So I hope you have a very good day, and I hope you will have the opportunity to also see our exhibition downstairs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Cecilia Ekholm, Commissioner General for Sweden to Expo. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Håkan Lind, Senior Advisor, Nordic Innovation, for his welcome and opening remarks.
Thank you. I'll stand here. Yes, hello. Nice to see so many faces. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear friends, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here to the pavilion and to the Nordic Battery Dialogue today. Domo arigato gozaimasu for being here with us. The Expo's theme, Together Towards Better Future, is something we in the Nordics feel very strongly about. Our 5 countries, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway and Sweden, are very small individually, but when we work together, the outcome is far greater than any one of us could achieve alone. And that is what Nordic collaboration is about for us. Nordic Innovation, where I work, is a part of the Nordic Council of Ministers, the official body for intergovernmental cooperation in our region. Our role is to act as a catalyst to connect people and companies and organizations across borders to support innovation that creates real Nordic added value. We do this not in isolation, but with partners. And in this case, it's the partnership with Business Sweden, Business Finland, and Innovation Norway, who each represent their government's trade and innovation agendas. The strength comes when these efforts are combined. Earlier this week in Tokyo, many of us had the opportunity to dive into the Nordic battery ecosystem. We saw examples from regional development, upstream materials, and circular solutions. Today here in Osaka, we continue that dialogue in a global context, looking for only at what happens in Nordics, but also how we can connect with Japan, one of the world's leading innovation nations. Batteries are central to the green transition. They enable renewable energy to be stored and used when needed. They power clean mobility from cars to buses to ships. They're essential for digitalization and are at the heart of the circular economy. Few technologies cross across sectors as strongly as batteries. And in this field, Japan and the Nordics share both the high ambition and proven ability to deliver. I would like to thank our Japanese hosts, BISAC, for their cooperation, and thank you to all of you for being here today. So let us use today not only to present and listen, but to engage, to ask questions, to find areas for collaboration, and to grow new ideas. That is how we move forward. Ishani Mirayu Tsuramishu. Together we build the future. Thank you and welcome.
Now we will have a keynote introducing battery value chain in Europe and the Nordics. Please welcome Ilkka Homanen, representing the Nordic Battery Collaboration.
Let us do some connections first. How do you
change the slides? Yes, you can look at your own slides.
All right, let's go. Hello, everybody, distinguished guests, dear Nordic colleagues. I'm really honored to be here today. My name is Ilkka Homanen, working for Nordic Battery Collaboration and at home for Business Finland. I'm replacing today Bo Nordmark. He couldn't be here today, but he did send his best regards. So I'm going to talk about shortly 2 topics, a little bit about the European battery industry, where it was and where it's now. And secondly, about the Nordics, where we are at the moment, how we engage with the European battery industry. And all that in 10 minutes. So this is where it all started with the fast pace. Mr. Šefčovič took the initiative to start working on a European battery value chain with full support from from Europe. He established European Battery Alliance. He named InnoEnergy to run the European Battery Alliance. So it all started with a very fast pace because there was a huge need for batteries to be seen in automotive and energy sectors. Here we can see some of the support methods that the EU brought over to be utilized in the battery industry. Some of them are sort of from the original days, some of them are coming a little bit later. European Green Deal, now it's Clean Industrial Deal. We have a Critical Raw Materials Act, we have EU battery regulation, security strategy, Repower EU. So a whole lot of initiatives to support this initial idea of building European battery value chain. So here's a little bit a picture of the history. There were big numbers, big capacity estimates, European map full of projects. Everything was looking really good. Looking at the Nordics at the same time, we were picking up, but there were still quite a bit of empty spots in the Nordics. Things changed a little bit, not maybe a little bit. There were a lot of consolidation happening, a lot about delayed, a lot about cancelled projects. What you can see also is that there are more spots in the Nordics happening. Not everything here is up to date, sorry, but it just gives you a view of what it was in the beginning and what it is sort of right now. Here's a little bit of a list of the projects which are cancelled or delayed or consolidated. So just the message is that there's been quite a bit of turnaround in Europe. It does not mean that we are all sort of stopped. Electrification is moving forward, but there was this sort of high thoughts and now realistic thoughts are in the place. This one gives you a view is that who is investing in Europe. Of course, Europe is the biggest one. Second biggest is clearly China, and then the remaining parts is much smaller. This gives you a welcoming sort of words for Japan to invest in Europe as well. There's not a single big major investment from Japan. Welcoming that. Here's a supply chain view, and here you can see this dotted row, a little bit about where the capacity should be, 1,600 gigawatt hours. A few years back, it's a bit too high number. But you can see how the supply chain has been developing. So clearly, we are suffering on the upstream supply chain. It has not developed as fast as needed. It's getting easier when we go down the value chain on the PCAMs and cells. Especially the end uses is sort of picking up really nicely. But that's the reason why we should get this upstream going faster than it is. We are strongly dependent on Asian countries like China. We have seen this picture before a few times. Just happy to say that Europe is happy to have this sort of MOUs between BASC and Recharge and EBA. So this gives us a good continuation possibility for European-Japanese partnerships and work. Another MOU between JETRO, European Battery Alliance, and GX Acceleration Agency, again giving opportunity to build sort of mutually beneficial partnerships and activities. So that was a view of the Europe. And then the second part is about Nordic battery collaboration. So happy to see so many people here. We have done a great job on organizing this whole week's journey actually in Japan to get the communication and partnerships going on. So these are some of the sort of the characteristics of the Nordics in the battery industry and other industries as well. Sustainability is in our DNA. So that's what we think all the time. We think about future, we think about how we sort of adapt our technologies to the sustainability. We have a lot of critical minerals underground and also already refined, more coming up. innovation culture. Nordics is very famous for engineers, so easily accepted collaborations, strong tradition for knowledge sharing and openness. We are stable. That's also important. I've been even saying that could be the most stable area in the Europe up north. So we would be good partner for Japan, so to say. This is our value chain. Maybe not as many members as BASC has, but if we count everything together, this is the Nordic one. We may come close to 200. So the Nordic Battery Collaboration has created this common value chain, common value proposition, and we are all here to sort of collaborate with Japanese side. We are also highly ranked. You can see that on the right low corner by Bloomberg NEF. We are always landing on top 10 all Nordics. This is to say that this is not the first time we are here with the Nordic Battery Collaboration. We have been here 23, 24, and now 25. You can take a quick look on that. Just like to highlight this week's program. We came here Monday, and we will be here until Friday, having seminars in Tokyo and high-level reception, networking, and now we are here and really hope to make new connections and embrace the old connections going forward. With this, I would like to thank you very much. I hope you got some updates on the Europe, some updates on the Nordics, but we are ready to discuss more with all of you later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilkka Hommanen. So now we have had keynotes from the Japanese side and the Nordic side. What a good starting point for the rest of this session, which is 3 panel discussions. The first panel discussion is about exploring collaboration opportunities between Japan and the Nordics. And to start this, I would like to introduce the moderator of the panel discussions. So please, everyone, welcome Gustav Sandegren from Business Sweden.
Hi all, thank you, and very nice to be here. As mentioned, we're among friends, and we want to stay close and keep a cadence with you, the Japanese Business Society. This panel is going to highlight different angles, but also addressing the MOU signed. And for that, I want to invite my panel up on stage. As mentioned, we're a Nordic delegation. This represents multiple companies from different countries. But first on stage from Fortum, Mr. Anssi Airas. Then we'll continue with TerraFrame, Mr. Janne Palosaari. Have a seat. Then from Zenit, Mr. Erik Saur. And then from Granode, Mr. Lars Chandin. And from KTH, Mr. Magnus Burman. And also to close the loop from the Japanese Business Society and Panasonic Energy, Mr. Nobuto Nagasaki. Yes, I think that we could start with the introduction. Magnus, will you kick it off?
Should be switched somewhere?
Yeah.
Now, good.
Great.
Thank you. Minasan, konnichiwa. Genki desu ka? Are you okay? It's very hot in here. I'm Magnus. I'm from KTH, Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm, Sweden's largest university. And we have a vision that we take the lead for a sustainable future. And I don't know how much of introduction you would like, or we say
We can halt there.
we can.
Thank you. Pass the word to the right.
Okay, Lars Edin, I'm the CEO of Granode Materials, a Swedish company that are producing the next generation of silicon anode material for electrical vehicles. Nice being here.
Yes, Erik Sauer from Senate in Norway. We are developing a new silicon anode material in close collaboration with many of the world-leading battery producers, and are also scaled up our processes to about 1 gigawatt-hour per year. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Gustav. Janne is my name. My company, Terraform, represents the largest nickel and cobalt mining in Europe, and we are already supplying nickel intermediates and nickel raw materials and battery chemicals to Japanese value chains.
Oh, yes, hello. I'm Anssi Airas from Fortum Battery Recycling, heading the business in our company. We are in practice an European battery recycler with the full commercial value chain, so the only one operating a hydrometallurgical facility in Finland.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Nakanishi from Panasonic Energy. This company has 100 years history in doing battery business, and we have supplied to Tesla and other auto OEMs. And back in 2008, we have started the EV battery for EV battery in North America and Japan. At this moment, we don't have a much footprint in Europe, but we are eager to participate into Europe market, taking this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I think that to, let's say, keep the flow going regarding collaboration, Magnus, if we start up with you. Collaboration in the battery value chain. This is a representation from many components within it. What do you see as the main driver and possibilities?
Sustainability. The future of our society needs the electrification and the sustainable batteries. And I'm in the middle of the value chain, so to speak, providing education, providing research, and also helping companies with innovation. And for us to be relevant in our education, we need support from industry, and also in the research questions, we need a gap from industry and support by the society. So yeah, I think its collaboration is key in this sense.
Yeah. If we revert to you, Janne, regarding the Finnish business society, what do you see as strong collaboration points there and possibilities with the Japanese society?
Well, thank you. Perhaps continuing to the previous presentation, when looking the cluster of batteries in Europe, we could certainly see a collaboration between the Japanese technologies enhancing the capabilities in Europe. For example, for our materials, more sustainable solution would be, of course, to bring the technology closer to European market, and I hope technology companies here seize the opportunity.
Yeah. If we stay at the Finnish side, Anssi, what can you add to that?
Yeah, so maybe my view is from a different perspective, or apart from the supply chain or the value chain as such. But I also, as Janne, here I'm more calling on more collaboration between the European companies, but also between Nordics and Japan, for instance. We have a great opportunity to do things together, but at the moment I think we are working a little bit too alone in a way.
Thank you for that. Hope that the microphone works better now for you guys. If we move to Japan.
Yes.
And if you are to highlight, we have spoken about collaboration possibilities within many different parts of the value chain. What do you see as the main driver?
I believe we have to go beyond the relation, just simply like a buyer and supplier. we need to mutually collaborate to co-develop the material in the battery together. Because we are battery manufacturer, we understand what kind of material we need for auto OEM, because we customize formula fitting to the OEM requirements. But in order to do so, we need to understand the material, and we have to co-develop the material also. So anyway, we have to send our engineer to material processing side. So that kind of advanced collaboration will be required, I think.
Excellent. Staying somewhat in the material side, looking at you, Lars, what would you like to add into this?
Well, I agree that sustainability is, of course, very important, but our aim end customer market is electric vehicles, and as such, of course, cost is very important. We are a small but very important piece of the total battery value chain, and as such, I see several fantastic collaboration opportunities with Japanese companies, both upstream and downstream, considering that Japan is absolutely world leading when it comes to qualitative manufacturing. We see that as potential supplier of machinery and equipment and knowledge to us, as well as raw materials, but of course also a customer base coming from cell producers and of course at the end the automotive car manufacturers, and there we know that Japan is absolutely world leading.
Eric and Senate, last words about this broad question.
No, I think for us it's very easy. We come with a completely new material, and in Norway we can find world-leading silicon experts. We don't have world-leading battery chemistry experts. So we, from day one, more or less, went to Japan and Korea and started collaborating with the world-leading battery producers, so that we could try to solve the customer problem by improving our product. And so I think the distribution of competence between Japan and Norway in this case was very clear. We knew how to make advanced silicon materials. Japanese and Korean large companies knows the environment that this product shall fit into. So it's totally dependent on close collaboration.
Thank you. I think that covers very much of the topics also addressed in the MOUs, and that has been addressed by multiple speakers prior to me, so glad to hear that we have the same image, so to say. If we look at the recycling part, and Fortum in that sentence, recycling is a key activity defined in many, many reports and analyses. Could you give, let's say, your outlook on this and what's pivotal?
Yes. Okay. Nice, now it's working. Great, thank you. I think like we have two different problems. So in the short time, if you look at in the let's say 3 to 5 years perspective, what is going on is that we have a global lack of feedstock in recycling. Well, it also in practice means that we have overcapacity. So it is not financially like the best business when there's lack of feedstock. It is also it is the thing that will probably change by 2030. But the EV market is growing constantly. There will be more feedstock. Of course, then it's a question that how much additional recycling capacity there will be by 2030. Then simultaneously, it is a little bit difficult in a way to find funding to the business, because if we believe on the electrification, that it actually continues and the amount of EVs grow, simultaneously the amount of batteries to be recycled grows. But then at some point, if we don't start investing today, we will not have the capacity to recycle tomorrow. So we do face a certain type of an issue or challenge to overcome when it comes to funding, definitely. I think that's the two main points. In short term, there's a lack of feedstock, and then on a longer run, we should be investing now so that we would actually have some capacity up and running in 5 years.
Yeah. If we just touch on that's a Japanese angle of it, can we learn anything from the Japanese business society within recycling?
Yes, I think I've actually had a couple of very good meetings here, and we've discussed it a lot, and maybe learned that there's a different kind of an approach in Japan in this, and I think there's like it little bit also goes back to the collaboration and maybe some discussions I had today with Janne, that we should actually collaborate more. We as a recyclers should actually collaborate more with the primary material producers. We could collaborate more with the PCAM and CAM manufacturers, and there's multiple opportunities around the value chain.
Thank you for that. I couldn't agree more. If we switch angles to the materials market and the volatility explained also presented by the previous speakers to me, what's your outlook?
Well, as it was mentioned earlier, of course, the cost competitiveness of the end product or end application is very crucial for the EV value chain. And as with all commodities, we live in through different cycles, which are not beneficial for the long-term investment on the upstream side, but neither good for the application to be priced at the competitive levels. I think in general, the world of base metals and battery materials rely on the London Metal Exchange pricing, offering a future forward curve to both buyers and sellers independently to hedge the underlying metal prices. But we would warmly welcome, as we have examples in Europe, directly ourselves as an upstream player being approached by the end usage of the material. The European OEMs have gone to the route of securing the raw materials from the source. And this enables a lot of ideas to share the burden of fluctuations, setting prices for the physical materials based on the capabilities on the cost structures. So as Mr. Nakanishi was saying, we strongly believe that the influence of the end usage over the supply chain is one of the enablers to set long-term pricing mutually profitable for the whole value chain. Maybe to add the detail that with this mindset, instead of having the long supply chain of 4 or 5 players individually seeking for supply chain financing or managing the price risks, if the chain would be optimized, I think in the current market maybe the end users would be in a best position to finance the raw material throughout the entire value chain and recycling to that matter.
Precisely. If we look at Eric and Lars, from your perspective, maybe to repeat myself, but what's the biggest challenge of today regarding the battery value chains from, let's say, Nordic perspective? But add the layers that you would like also from a Nordic and, Norwegian, Swedish perspective.
Yeah, I think one real challenge we have as developers of new technology for battery cell production is that we need the benefit of a large-scale battery cell production in Europe. We are traveling to Japan and Korea all the time. It's a long travel, and proximity to the counterparty is important. I think I totally support that we strengthen the collaboration here, and it's also I support the European policy in establishing cell production in Europe so that it's possible to have the entire ecosystem also in Europe.
Well, I can't speak for the total industry. I think we all are facing different challenges depending on what phase the company stage is in. But I would say that having done this in other industries is very much the same. Once you have the proof of concept and you know your product and you know that there will be a market demand for your product, it's all about convincing the market about your capability in scaling up. Sorry? You disagree? It's all about scaling up. So our main challenge right now, that is to find a proper machine and equipment design that can, in a long term, scale up our production. And if there is any such companies in here in machine and equipment supplies, you should talk to Dr. Cohen down there and convince him.
I think that Magnus asked for a word also, so we must leave that to him. But yeah, reverting over to KTH and your perspective on this. We have discussed this a lot in other forums, but to foster, let's say, the Nordic cooperation and to foster Nordic competency and pooling stuff, how can the academia and industry collaborate best?
Best, I don't know, but it's
from your perspective, of course.
From my perspective, it's all about people, right? And personal relations. I have had the opportunity both working as a guest professor at Scania for 3 years, give me perspective on the decision and the strategy policies within the company coming from university. It's totally different, so get me an understanding of that process. Having the opportunity to spend 3 months at Toda, University of Tokyo, as a guest researcher, also gave me a perspective on the Japanese system and how university fostered their young leaders and their researchers. So mobility, so personal mobility of young talents, and both then on master student level and also young researchers and maybe even some older researchers as well, to learn from each other and also establish. And I think my colleague Professor Patrick who has PhD students, former PhD students in the room from Japan here, agree with me. It's you establish a very long time personal relation that will stay on forever, and it will help both sides, so to speak.
Absolutely, and just to add some context to this, we have had both a business delegation since Monday, but there's also been an academic part of it. What's your biggest takeout from the days here?
Fantastic research going on in the universities we looked upon. So we visit University of Tokyo Science, and also we today visit the University of Osaka here in Osaka. And I'm impressed of the research work being done there, and I hope that we will continue having collaboration with these universities and other universities, of course.
Thank you. If we add a Panasonic perspective on it, now you listen to these 5 gents from the Nordics. Do you think that we are on track from your perspective?
Yeah, definitely. I believe so. Because in Japan, we have a lots of know-how in production method and manufacturing know-how, and also quality control. But we need a demand. So we can see perspective. Huge demand in Europe. So why don't we collaborate with Japanese technology to high ESG compliant companies in Europe to support European decarbonization? So I think that this is a fantastic combination. And we need to set up the very tangible project. So I like to propose, why don't we set up the working group, and we assign the particular companies in each process from upstream to the midstream and downstream. Then we can start the collaborative the project. So that's why we became the witness of the signing ceremony between EU and Japan 2 days ago. Yeah.
I think it's a very wise reflection also, and just to highlight the last man to, yeah, you're right, Bo, that sends his regards. We are, of course, working both from a Swedish, Finnish, and Norwegian perspective in the Nordics with European Battery Alliance. And we are very glad to set up this, this process. I can speak on both behalf on that. And let's touch on that. And I'm actually very, very impressed by the 7 action points illustrated prior to this. I think it's a really, really good working example of how to, let's say, increase cooperation internally, but also address new markets and venture together. In Sweden, we have something called fika, same in all the Nordic countries. And soon it's going to be fika, maybe water, because it's quite hot in here. But just to, let's say, halt on the MOUs being signed this week, I think it's a pivotal moment to be able to cooperate together. But where should we start and yeah, from a business perspective, from all of you. Eric, I'll start with you. What do you see?
Looking back also at my own career and history, I think what is in the MOU about exchanging students and in early stage, and also collaboration between companies, as we have had in the European Union, research projects have really stimulated the network between individuals in Europe, and we could easily do the same between Nordic and Japan. And I also think this type of seminars where you bring together sort of companies from different parts of the value chain to get contacts and establish contacts for new companies is a very valuable contribution.
Yeah, precisely. And also to move from, let's say, soft talks to some sort of concrete actions, as you invited us to. I think it's a very wise next move. If we switch to, let's go back to Magnus once more. The main takeouts from the MOUs. We have
again the mobility. So that's
very clear.
Yeah, but it's not that it is easy to say, but it requires also a sort of instruments that allows us as universities to easily bring on students. We have a different, not curricula, but different type of time frames within our educational system, and the same with the PhD students if we would like to bring our young researchers. So both sides need to find understanding of the system so we can easily and not get stuck in the administration about having the realizing this mobility. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Good conclusions. Janne?
To set a sustainable value chain requires a lot of skill set. And just bringing our own example, building the European largest nickel mine has taken 2 decades and north of $2 billion. The skill set required, and I think Japan has a great expertise in finding industrial financing instruments, which I think we are shortage of or lacking them in Europe.
Yeah.
So apart from the technical skill set, also the expertise in global trade and financing world would be much needed to build this sustainable value chains.
Thank you. I think we'll stay with Finland for the next question. Hansi.
Yeah, that was difficult to guess. Thank you. I think there's been a lot of talk about this actually. It's not the first time that we discuss about collaboration between companies. We have done it in Finland, we have done it in Nordics, we have done it in Europe. Discussions after discussions. I know that Swedes like discussing, but it's a bit different thing. But I think it's time for action. What I'm saying is that we are also all despite being in the different part of the value chain, we tend to be a little bit protectionist and a little bit like got our guard up. So I think we need to lower our guards and really get to the table together, discuss how we can win the EV business.
Do you have any challenge then to get going, not just to discuss?
Yeah, I have only 24 hours in a day. So.
Thank you.
No, I think there is no blocker. I think it's about somebody should maybe support us to facilitate. Someone, let's say, strong enough in the value chain should actually take the initiative. We are a relatively small business as such, but I think Panasonic, for instance, could actually take the lead there.
But to stick to that, not to, let's say, keep you to this too much, but reverting back to Busk's presentation, Kodaira-san's presentation, do you have any concrete actions on that you see could be taken?
Well, yes. Multiple.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you.
Take them to the coffee. Lars.
Yeah, as Ansi said correctly, Swedes wants to discuss, and our aim here at attending Japan this week is to build a network and initiate the very first meeting with a lot of companies, because after initial meeting during, say, an hour, then both parties knows whether there is an opportunity for collaboration or not. I was here in Japan almost a year ago with the Swedish Prime Minister signing the new strategic partnership agreement with Japan. That's almost a year ago. That was in December. And now we're here, I think, also said, now it's time for us all to start walking the talk. And as you all know, it requires two to tango, and we are ready to dance.
Thank you very much. One last word from the gentleman to my right.
Yes, I fully agree. All the gentlemen speak about. It's now time to action. And I'd like to propose, why don't we set a quantitative target and with timeline? Otherwise, we just repeat the discussion over and over. Yeah, and then I like to raise the common challenges which we are having both sides. The number one is dependency on single country for upstream, especially critical minerals. Yeah. So how we can achieve the China-free supply chain? Yeah. In this sense, there are many things we can collaborate. And secondly, the human resource. Unfortunately, Japan, we don't have a university teaching all the elements required for battery manufacturing also. Yeah, that's why the Basque heavily that took the leadership together with METI to increase the future talents. So we have a set up curriculum and the know-how for the education. So we can disclose this to academia in Europe. And then we can exchange a student also. So we can make some spikes. And then lastly, manufacturing equipment. This is the industry, unlike the semiconductor. Like semiconductor, you know, there are huge company who only focus on manufacturing equipment manufacturing. Yeah, but in case of battery manufacturer, we have to design and produce equipment in-house. Yeah, in another word, we didn't actually encourage equipment producer to participate to the battery industry. Right? So now is the time to encourage the machinery industry to jump into battery supply chain. And I think there are many Japanese companies who are capable to do that. Yeah, and then we have to find the similar companies, the cluster in Europe. So layer by layer, multiple layer, equipment, machinery producer to machinery producer, and upstream to upstream, and battery to battery. But this layer by layer collaboration, we have to design.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those insights. Now we'll break for a fika. We'll be back by 3:10. Then some more panel discussions. Thank you very much, all of you, and thank you to the panel.
Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. May I please ask for your kind attention? We will start again after the fika break. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the second panel discussion. May I please ask you to find your seats, and we have more ample time to do networking also after this seminar. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Let's just wait for everyone to get seated. Yeah, let's take it away. Thank you for joining us once more, and hope that the fika break was giving and rewarding with the discussions. Now we have a new panel that's going to focus a bit on the Nordics as an international collaboration with partners and case examples. And this is going to cover the looks across the battery value chains, from materials recycling to different sorts of advanced components and research. And I think that we could address also how Japan and the Nordics can work more closely together, as we engaged in on the last panel. But I would like to introduce and invite also up on stage the panelists here. Wait for everyone to get seated just. Let's start with Mr. Martin Phillips from Talga Group. Welcome up on stage. And then from Hitachi High-Tech, Horishiki-san. Then Mr. Gregor Ledum from the Swedish Energy Agency. And from Metso, Mr. Heinonen. From Finnish Battery Industries, Mrs. Pia Vilenius. And from Vianode, Mr. Stian Massus. Thank you. Stian, let's start out with you. A brief presentation of you and your business.
Yes, is it working, the mic? Yeah.
Excellent.
Great. Great, so really nice to be here. Fantastic to be in Japan, as always. I'm representing Vianode, a Norwegian-based, at least today, company that's producing anode graphite materials. So we have recently scaled up to full industrial production in Norway and are, of course, super keen to expand the collaboration with esteemed Japanese players. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pia, moving on to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Pleased to be here today. Finnish Battery Industries represent companies all the way from mining and refining of minerals all the way to the recycling of batteries. So glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We can move along the line. Kimmo, please. It's on.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kimmo Heinonen, and I'm working for Metso. We are a technology company for mining technologies, and nowadays more and more also battery chemicals technologies. My key focus is in our lithium technologies in sales position.
Thank you very much. Gregor, please.
Yes, my name is Gregor Ledum from the Swedish Energy Agency, and the agency is missioned by the Swedish government, and the batteries is one of our focus areas. And we do this in different ways, but we are the largest financier of research and innovation and investments in scale-up and so on in Sweden regarding batteries.
Yeah, thank you. Martin.
Hello everyone, Martin Phillips. I'm from Talga Group. So we are located in the town of Luleå, which is in northern Sweden. We have currently a factory for processing or making anode active material, predominantly natural graphite. We are recycling as well, graphite black mass, and we have our largest graphite mineral resources actually as well in the northern part. Near Kiruna, we have Europe's largest graphite.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Hello, so I'm very honored to be here in front of you. So I'm Nobuya Horikoshi from Hitachi High-Tech. So Hitachi High-Tech provides our equipment solution about analytics. So my company strengths analytics. And I'm just creating the new lithium-ion battery new business. Our end-to-end, from end-to-end. It means so our lithium battery R&D, manufacturing, EV transition, and battery management, also recycle, reuse process, realizing support. We call it lithium-ion battery lifecycle management business. So now I have already done a lot of POC and POD with real clients. So I would like to cooperate with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that introduction. I think that we have heard a lot about, let's say, the commonalities and also differences between the industries in Japan and Sweden in the panel prior to this, and that's also been touched on multiple times. If we look at the benefit for both parties in this, of course, It must be that way to maintain a sustainable cooperation manner. Can you give examples of fruitful cooperations? Martin?
I think commonalities, we both have to diversify the supply chain. I think we have a very strong continued dependence on China for our supply chains in batteries. By looking at alternatives, one way we are working, I think, is in the strength of the Nordics, is in raw material supply. I think you will find all sorts of the critical minerals. We have the ability to process and make midstream refining processes, and we're example, Tauga, and Vianode is another that is in this midstream. So I believe that the manufacturing, the advantages that come with working with Japan is an understanding of being able to fit our very entrepreneurial, I think, processing of minerals and being able to do that quickly, but actually working with manufacturing, I'm finding, the Japanese are very conservative. They are very rigorous and very much do things step by step. And with our entrepreneurial abilities to just get more supply moving, I think it's very important that both companies or both groups are working together to try and bring on more supply very quickly.
Might be a curveball, but Greger, regarding this question, we have debated this a lot. How can we, let's say, support the businesses in these steps?
Yes, that's something I think a lot about, and I do think that a lot of things have been said in the previous panel also about a lot of things that is like now obvious when we see where we stand and common values and our challenges and respective strengths and so on. One more thing that has not been touched on so much, I would like to address here now, especially from Metti's presentation, challenge number 5, I think it was mentioned in there, from the battery strategy. The power of creating value-added markets. All parts of the value chain, actors in all parts of the value chain has a lot to gain to be able to access value-added markets that are very competitive, but not as competitive as going out and just compete for the lowest price against China, in this case. So I think there is a huge, right now there are such small markets, but they are fragmented. They are each country to their own or bilateral, and the information, there's very much lack of transparency. And as someone said, the battery value chain and the actors along that chain is one of the most cross-cutting technology value chains that there is. And are all the way from mining to surface science and space and defense and transport and so on. So by consolidating just a little bit, more transparency, sharing information on where to place bids, where to find supply, and so on, in all parts of the value chain, but especially maybe upstream and around manufacturing equipment and around cell capability of production. I think that could be something that on the broad benefits everyone on both sides in this. So that is something I think we should really try to put task force on.
Yeah. And switching countries to the Finnish business society, Pia, what's your take on this? How should we proceed?
I think
Yeah.
Now it's on.
Yes.
Okay. I think as countries we have a lot of similarities, like Japan and Finland are very much alike. And I think we could really benefit from each other in this competition, which is fierce, currently against China. But what Finland has to offer is we are building the whole battery value chain into Finland, and I think we would benefit a lot from Japanese investments as well. So we offer stable investment environments and a lot of sustainability produced critical minerals, and I think we could offer a lot to Japan, but cooperation is needed.
Kimmo, being part of the Finnish Business Society, I think that you agree on Pia's statement, but from your business angle, what's your take on this?
Yes, I agree with Pia very much. I'm not. I need to say that I'm not a long history expert for Japanese business. I have been working in our company over 30 years, but my projects has been mainly in other areas. But nowadays seems that here are a lot of opportunities also for our company. What I have learned, here are huge domestic markets. All companies that we have discussed so far, they are so giant size companies operating worldwide. Differences maybe are that Nordic companies, they have a usually flat organization, meaning quite dynamic decision making. Here maybe it's more conservative and bigger organizations, and maybe sometimes take more time to agree everything. But I like a lot to discuss and negotiate, present our technologies for Japanese, because I have seen that they are very open-minded. They live also here very much for innovations, technology, as we in Nordic countries, and they are, from that perspective, they are not so conservative. They are very open. They are good in listening, and that's maybe something that we need to learn more from Japanese, to listen more. Then we learn, when we listen more, we learn more, we understand better customer expectations and so on.
Yeah. Thank you. Very fruitful thoughts also. Stian, representing a Norwegian company with, let's say, a huge industrial legacy from Norway. What's your take on this and the cooperation possibilities? What should we do?
Yeah. Is it on now? Yes. So I would like to start. We had this event in Tokyo earlier this week, and the opening talk when we had our networking session from the Battery Association of Japan, I thought was very, very good, because it really highlighted maybe the reason, at least, why I'm in this industry, like solving the big climate challenge, because that issue has kind of come to have less attention lately with all the geopolitical changes and so on. So I was very happy to hear that focus. And I think this is definitely an area where Japan and the Nordics really come together. The focus on then creating a much more greener and sustainable battery value chain. And then we have to attack, of course, the whole battery value chain. It doesn't make sense in a way to make the world's greenest batteries if all the input materials are not produced in a sustainable way. So really here I think we can definitely come together. I think also another thing that is kind of starting to lack more and more in the world is trust, I think. But also here, building on the trust we have in the Nordics and the trust in Japan, and really creating trustful, lasting relationships, I think could be very, very valuable here. And then I think a little bit on the differences in a way. Japan really knows how to make batteries. I'm not saying we don't know anything about it, but we are pretty fresh. So kind of really learning this and combining this with where we have strengths in a way in the Nordics, and specifically here in Norway, in a very long tradition in energy-intensive industries, and like producing graphite, other materials. I think we have a lot of competence, but of course it needs to be combined with deep knowledge in the end use and application in the batteries.
And maybe to follow up on that, at least a thought that has crossed my mind several times throughout this visit to Japan and meeting the businesses. How should I say? How could we combine Japanese large-scale industries with Nordic innovation case studies? Because we have a lot of innovation. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I think it's of course really important that the products are working for the intended end use. And in the battery industry, kind of really testing the materials that goes into the cells and having the link in a way to the materials and the performance is extremely important. So when we innovate and do new things, it's not always regarded as that positive also, because it creates a risk. But here I think the solution to this in a way, because we need to the way we make batteries, the way we make the materials that goes into the battery have to improve, less resource intense and much greener. But kind of to test out new materials that also poses some concern on the end user side, because it's sometimes something different. And here the really close collaboration in a way, and maybe opening up a little bit on how the materials are being tested and how the performance is being tested is valuable. I think also what we see a lot is that this industry lacks a lot of common standards in a way. So it is difficult to compare results in a way. So kind of opening up in this area, I think, could be very important to introduce new innovations and new ways of making products.
Yeah, thank you. Very good response and good thoughts. From a Japanese take and from a Hitachi high-tech take, what's your perspective on this? Are we on track, so to say?
Yes. So, I think we means with Nordic countries and Japan have a huge opportunity. So, for example, as you know, the Hitachi Limited acquired part of the ABB, and also fortunately, my company has a subsidiary level in the Helsinki Espoo to develop cutting-edge equipment. And also, I'm now running the new business model about lithium-ion battery. So, as I mentioned, like our used lithium-ion battery trading platform. Now I'm creating. This is very powerful solution for that connect each other. So it means we have a lot of opportunity to co-work with. So and also I expect a strong Nordic countries like the, for example, our mining minerals and vehicles. Vehicle means Volvo and Baramet. You have a very strong company in Nordic company, and also you have the very sophisticated recycle reuse system and the companies, and also startups. I would like to co-work with these companies. So and also I would like to talk with you after this meeting. So please contact me.
Very good, and very clear engagement possibilities also. We have spoken about trust, resilience, a lot of common things also, as in the same panel. But regarding, let's say, business support, Greger, how can the Swedish Energy Agency support new businesses, new technologies, and to, let's say, prosper from that together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have made it a priority to sort of give a gold star, a bonus for collaborations. This kind of prioritized cross-border collaborations, they are a focus, and there are huge opportunities. We need to build them, maybe start new and build slowly and so on, but we have the funding opportunities, and we would like to see much more in that regard. And there are very nice examples of long-standing collaborations and exchange of people and building of relations, but also of creating excellence in science, because one should not forget that those goes hand in hand. It's like dropping a rock in a pond creates ripples, and it needs to be tied together, and the business opportunities are obvious, and the more we collaborate, the more obvious the business opportunities will become. So I think it's an enabler also to focus on research collaboration, and then very much comes out of that, and you have mobility and so on, and you further the trust and deepen the trust. So.
And this is also highlighted very much in the MOU being signed, reverting back to that for the 17th time or something this day. But I think it's very important to highlight that. And maybe a broad question to all you guys in the panel might be that the MOU has been signed. We have associations somewhat between European Union and Japan, meaning the Nordics also. This MOU has its objective to increase the collaboration between all parties in that sentence. And do we have any suggestions on concrete actions? Please.
Yes, very good too. I think that the Nordic countries, also Japan, Norway in this regard, has great landing space for research collaboration with large European programs, with those big joint projects, and start to build those consortiums. Take time to create, and one needs to take some steps, and then it will take some time, but then you create very strong consortia, and I think the Nordics are a really good place for Japan to start to dwell into more to Europe and build even more networks.
Yeah. Martin, do you have any response to this?
Yeah. Well, I see two things actually. In the early stages, we used in 2018-19, we used a company called Osaka Gas. They have a research institute which is called in Kyoto. And of course, when you create new materials, you want to know whether you're benchmarking against some of the best in the world and other batteries. You want to know whether it works well. So I think clearly, as materials and as technology changes, you have to adapt very quickly. And raw materials business, we lag. We lag behind. And I was talking before about niobium materials and these new generation of materials. So these all have to be sourced, they all have to be found around the world, and you have to determine whether you can make these materials. And these are areas that we see Japan provides a check and balances, and the institutes here, what we found is clearly they have scanned the whole industry, they know what makes a good battery, they know what materials are needed, which ones are good ones, and so forth. So that's an example of just and I've seen the clean labs and the way that they cycle is different to what we do in Europe. And so we do cycling in Europe, but when we come to Japan, we get a different result, and we know, okay, there's a skill in that. So that's really important. The second part is scaling, and it's that leap across the chasm of going from a scale that is qualified mineral or materials and jumping to commercial. And there's a role to play from government, and I think the MOUs really offer bilateral level engagement. It increases the strategic talking and dialogue between the governments, and when it comes down to our level, it definitely makes it much more easier when there's a strategic reason why groups need to enter into commercial arrangements. And the key for us is the trading houses, the battery companies that link through there. You know, there is finance available here, and that there's a strong financial understanding of how to build mines and what's needed. And so there's JOGMEC and these groups that are very, very competent in determining whether a project is a good one to invest in or a bad one. And I don't think some of the OEMs and some of the car makers really know what's a good lithium mine or what a bad lithium mine is. But I think in Japan, they clearly know what is good. And so working with that group, I think will be important for Nordic projects.
Thank you. Also great ideas. Do you have any response to this?
Yes, yeah, very good suggestion. So our activity is very similar. So for example, Hitachi has a huge, big business in Europe. For example, there are EV buses for the public sector. So we can suggest and arrange what kind of batteries are appropriate for the operation of the EV buses. For example, the short term trip is very good for the Toshiba SCIB LTU is a very good battery. Or the other cases is Panasonic NMC type. The kind of this is a very good battery. And also these vehicles are connected with our server, so that we monitor the kind of the deterioration of the battery. So this data is very, very useful. This kind of this battery value chain. So, for example, the SOH under the 80% or 70%. What time is the best for the recycle, reuse? So we can suggest there are the kind of this way according with the battery deterioration, the situation, the number, SOH. So it means I would like to, eager to talk with you guys how to realize a new business. And decarbonization is very, very important. But on the other hand, only this solution is not profitable, unfortunately. So for example, regarding with the perspective is our maintenance cost of our ICE vehicle, ICE and EV. So EV's maintenance cost is 1/5 of our ICE, The maintenance cost is huge lower. But unfortunately, battery deterioration is a very, very big issue. How to manage the battery deterioration. So, and how to manage the second life of the battery. This kind of business model is very important. This is my opinion. That's it.
Thank you. Covering a lot of important areas and reverting back to resilience and also the green transition. I think I hand the word over to Pia.
Well, thank you. Now that we have established a relationship with the Japanese Association, I'm very much looking forward to our collaboration together. Maybe we can do some joint project or something that would benefit both Japanese and Nordic, especially Finnish companies. So I'm really, really looking forward to this cooperation with the Japanese. Thank you.
Thank you. Stian, final remarks.
Oh, final remarks. Yes. I think one subject that we didn't touch that much into, and I know together with Martin here, we are very much focused on also the recycling of graphite, really not wasting valuable materials where we put in a lot of energy and effort to make, and kind of collaborating on using recycled materials. There are, of course, traceability questions, and here kind of using the data through the value chain to track the materials and have the traceability, and also, of course, being a bit forward-leaning and maybe a little bit more aggressive in introducing these materials and testing out at scale also is very important, and using kind of the data from the performance through the value chain and sharing that is very important, so we start really utilizing the resource we have already kind of created and not just burn it. Yep.
Thank you. I think that we could conclude this panel with stating that we have many, many interesting ventures together, this panel also. And I would like to thank you, and to also pass the baton on to everyone to keep engaging and not just talk, but create actions. Thank you, guys. I think that we can take just 2-3 minutes break. Water if someone would like that, then a new panel. Maybe not present. Let's invite up Moria Santos to stage. Yeah, sorry. Please come, guys. Thank you. And then Mr. Patrick Johnson, representing Uppsala University. Joel Görsch, Business Region Gothenburg. Bat Circle, Miss Sonja Nurmi. And from Battery Norway, Paul Runde. And if the sound is too low, just let us know. Some difficulties with it. Sorry for that. But let's start with an introduction. Paul.
Yes. So Paul Runde, I work for Norwegian Industries Battery Association. So we are a membership organization, and I was impressed by BASK's hundreds of members. We are 25, but still growing.
Thank you. Please.
Hello, I'm Sonja Nurmi from Aalto University, where I coordinate the international collaboration of a research project called Bat Circle, which is a Finland-based battery material research ecosystem.
My name is Joel Görsch from Business Region Göteborg. I work as an investment advisor, helping companies to set up business in Gothenburg in automotive and batteries. And Gothenburg is the city where Volvo Cars and Volvo Group are having their head office.
Thank you.
So my name is Patrik Johansson. I'm representing Uppsala University, which is the biggest research environment in the Nordic countries on batteries. And I'm also the director for Battery 2030 Plus, which is the large-scale initiative on the European level on battery research on long term.
Nice to meet you all. My name is Ryo Chimolia, Chief Financial Officer at 3DC, which is a small startup company from Japan, which makes a cutting-edge carbon material.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Sumeng Tanaka at the AIST in Japan. And our research institute is staying in Osaka Prefecture. Then that I would like to very pleasure for that in this meeting joined. Tack and Kitos, and thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, but each and every one of you in this panel is in some sort working on improving the ecosystem to drive innovation, especially in the battery field. And you have good examples of your own, let's say, cooperation is boosting these activities. And we would like to highlight some possibilities and extended cooperations between Japan and the Nordics. What do you see? Patrick?
I can maybe extend it a bit from the Nordics. I would say the European. I think that there was no coincidence that the Nobel Prize on the batteries, as we saw them, was shared between Japan and people active in the European community. Today we see that we also have the research on next generation batteries, which creates the future industry, is especially strong in both Japan and the Nordic countries and the European community. That's where we, I would say, focus on the academic side. And I think that we have a common mindset where we really want to push the fundamentals, but having an application-oriented perspective. I think that's a very strong point.
Yeah. Paul, what do you see?
So having spent many years in the material science world and Norway as a strong and large producer of key materials to many of the upcoming industries, green materials, I think we have a special opportunities to work together with Japan, which are really specialists on battery production. And to me, the key is really to work together on specific cases, doing innovation on specific materials, specific cases, and really try to do it together, the customer and producer of such materials as a good examples. I refer to this usually as co-development and not innovation every time, but it's the same thing. It's about getting it out from the lab and into the industries with the customers. So I think there are some good opportunities as well as previous results in that field.
Yeah. If we switch to the Japanese side, Mr. Tanaka, what's your reflection?
Yes. So it's most important thing is to make a discussion also that some exchange for the good informations, and but so it's I will be ask for that what is the problem, and for the some guys how think about it's the problem, but the other guys is not the problem, but. We should be to be at a share of the what is the problem. That is most important first of all.
Yeah. Although we can stay in Japan. Please share, Mario-san. What's your aspect and take?
Yeah, so we are a startup company starting from Tohoku University, and we a lot of partners in Japan and globally, universities and the national institution. We work together in order to make an impact. And what I care is, so universities, national institutions, they have a lot of expertise, but they don't know about our commercialization. They don't know about our business. So what we care is setting a clear milestone, linking with the business KPI by ourselves, even though the joint research project with universities or national institutions. So for example, the collaboration with Japanese university, we get a good examples like our material will be very durable, even in a very high voltage, like 5 voltage or 4.8 voltage, which is very, showing the impact to even with the industry companies. So setting a clear milestone by industry player, that's I think essential thing in order to make an impact with collaboration with national institutions.
Thank you. And if we move to Aalto University and BAT Cycle, Sonia.
I would say that in Nordics, at least in Finland, but I believe that's the whole Nordics, that we have quite low threshold between academic research and industry partners, so we can discuss relatively freely and also exchange knowledge, exchange ideas. So the academic research, it's not only academic, but it creates value for the whole community. And so we could, I think, Japanese universities could benefit the collaboration, and also Japanese companies with Nordic universities in that sense.
Yeah. Joel, representing Gothenburg, one of the, let's say, hotspots in the Nordics regarding battery and the battery vertical, and your experience. What's your main take? What's the best added value from Gothenburg?
I think that what we could offer is, of course, the end user or the OEMs that are interested in producing their own cells, and that we can see there's a lot of competence and technology know-how here in Japan, which is something that is building up in Europe, but is still not as fine as it is here. So I think Japan can have a really good opportunity to entering the European market through these OEMs. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that we can also revert back to Patrick with another, let's say, academic angle of it. You have the important task to coordinate the European battery research and the Battery 2030 Plus program. You have been ongoing with this for quite a while, and also I've thought about prior to this also. But what have you learned from this program, and how can we apply it?
I think what we have seen during our 10 years of doing this long-term research is that you have to be a little bit agile as well, because we do have inputs from the industry, we do have inputs from the politics, though we should be long-term, but you cannot do everything all the time. Right now, it is very much about competitiveness. We have to do research. We don't have to do things on manufacturing, but we have to make the manufacturing better, as we heard previously as well. We have to train our young early career researchers so that they understand the full battery value chain. I think this is very important. I think that is something that we do really well. We have the special training programs for them so that they see the industry from the inside, not from the outside. Then they can contribute for the future as well. So I think very much stability because we're long term, but still agile.
Thank you. And is it possible, of course it is, but as of now to apply to the cooperation between Europe and Japan?
I was like listening to both BSC with their educational programs. I was listening to Panasonic mentioning the education, how they go together with Waseda University here. And I see that we are doing these same things. Our university has a master program on battery chemistry. I see that we can absolutely go and join forces on this, exchange curricula, exchange ideas of what is important, what is the question that we should answer, what is the problem, as we heard from ICE, to see that we're focusing on the right things together. So yes, absolutely. I see many large opportunities. There will be, of course, administrative hurdles, but then we hope that, let's say, embassies and people like that will help to solve those things.
Yeah. I have repeated this question to all panelists, but now we have six fresh faces here in the room. The MOU is signed this week. What does it mean? And for you, and with your hats on, and what suggestions do you have for us to take actions on as of now? Joel?
I think it's very important that, I mean, it's very, very good that we get these MOUs, but we need to also make them practical in place in somewhere. There needs to be some kind of vehicle where you really, I'm referring now to the startup one, how can the startups reach their bigger customers in Japan or in Sweden and vice versa? So I think there's a need to set up something practical, which is financed in a way that move that forward to get a possibility for getting into an engineering level where you see here's a problem and here's a solution. Let us test these things and let us lower the risk to get that going. I think if that would be the next step, then I think that would be a very good thing.
Yeah. And from 3DC representing a startup, what's your take on that agreement? That alignment?
So from like startup company perspective as well as material company perspective, we wanted to set a clear cash conversion pathway. That's essential to get a funding from investors. I think this is a pretty much same, even like industry companies, like battery companies or material companies. Then I would like to recommend involving OEMs or end users like consumer electronic device makers into these initiatives in order to we all get enough like cash conversion pathway thanks to the initiative as well as because of the efforts of the R&D and the collaboration.
Yeah. If we take this at the academic aspect once more, Sonja, what's your?
Well, of course, it gives very clear sign that we are in the same page. We want same things. That it's sort of a label that yes, we have discussed this through, and we are agreeing what everybody wants. So we want collaboration and we want to do things together. So, but yeah, I agree very much that there needs to be somebody facilitating to find with whom we can speak easily and with where to find those right contacts to help the collaboration.
Yeah. And for the Norwegian society then,
Yeah, I mean, Norway is really not a part of the EU, but in this setting, we of course are fully included, I guess, and in all the programs and so on that the EU has. And we also actually did sign a strategic partnership on batteries and raw materials almost 2 years ago with Japan. So I'm very happy for that, and happy that others are doing so too. But it's been said before, we need to fill these MOUs with action points and make plans to follow up on. That's what is needed. I'm also happy to see that there's so much focus on investments and in the MOUs that has been written now. So that's good.
Yeah. Regarding the Japanese and the Norwegian MOU, what has that meant to you?
Well, I've discussed that as a couple of days ago with the Norwegian ambassador to Japan, and it's an opener in many ways. We use it every time we want to have contact, and we for instance together with the meetings with the Norwegian government and so on, we refer to this MOU, and then it's easier to get access to get things happening. So you can't sit still and wait for the action to take place. You still have to use the MOU as a driver in having arranging various activities. It could be webinars and breakfast seminars and so on. So yeah, it helps, but you have to be active.
Yeah, and set agenda. If we end that, let's say, question or this discussion from an iced standpoint, what does it mean for you?
Yes, I think it's a much more important thing is for the collaboration for that throughout for the very low level, low tech level to go up to the high level is the most important thing. But also that's some technical, high technical level to go to the social implementation. However, some technical element is much more slower done for, which means that to arising at a new problem will be happening, and that we will go back to that some much more low level for to try and error to some investigation. In such function is much more important, especially for the battery region. The much more in the battery region is such kind of the problem will be happen for the other technical techniques, I think.
Yeah. When listening to this, I'm thinking a bit about the academia industry partnerships. That's something that we are doing quite well in the Nordics and quite well, from my point of view, also in Japan. But how can that be transferred? How can we work together with lessons learned and, let's say, innovate together? Have you thought anything regarding that? Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so it's most important. I think that it's not so easier to join us at such kind of to successfully, but we will be try to some the prepare for that some suitable equipment and system, and also that is some environment. And especially in our institute is a national institute, then it's such kind of to preparing is much more important for the near future.
Yeah. And also reverting back to a company or a person that has experience from the startup scene, Hiroshi, what do you see in terms of comparing the startup scene and the startup climate, or scale-up climate rather, in the Nordics or in the European Union compared to the Japanese one? What's your thoughts?
So to be honest, I don't know how well European startup companies collaborate with large traditional companies, but believe the collaboration between startup companies and traditional players is essential. So for example, during the battery value chain, as material company, we needed to secure the purchase from the cell manufacturer. So cell manufacturer startup companies have to secure the procurement from OEMs or consumer device makers. So like setting a clear milestone, the collaboration linking with the actual tangible revenue or cash stream, I believe this is the very important. Then I hope even Japan, like even Europe, we see that kind of like successful in the near future.
Yeah, thank you. We're starting to get to the end of this panel. Do you have any open remarks that you want to send to the audience and to the listeners, maybe to the Japanese or European business society in this?
As I was next in line, I think it's my turn. No, but I think that one thing that we hear from some people is that it's important to know whom to be able to speak to. And I think that when we see the BASC being a common organization for Japan, we are 5 Nordic countries. Some countries have an organization that treats the full battery value chain. Some have something that doesn't treat the full. Some don't really have an organization. So therefore, it might be very difficult for the Japanese community to know whom to talk to. So maybe the Nordic countries could make a better way of presenting ourselves so that the Japanese community and us, we can meet easier. We paved the way in some way, I think that. And also, it would also, for the Nordic countries itself, it would be a way to collect our forces just the way that the Japanese do. And I think also in that sense, we do have maybe a very strong tradition of having academic, industry, and also the government organizations working together in this center in other areas. But we could also do it in the battery area. And I think that would be simplifying life for everyone so that we can focus on the progress. I think that would be nice.
Thank you. Joel?
Yeah, well, I just reflect on the thing that you said, how European companies and startups work together. I just would like to give an example where we have in Gothenburg, which is called Mobility X Lab, which is working with startups that where the 5 OEMs are cooperating and finding their problems, and then global companies from all over the world, not only Europe, can apply for that. And I think that's kind of a model that one could look into for the battery industry as well, and connect with Japan and other countries as well to see what the possibilities are, which would give some kind of action, I think.
Yeah. I'll pass the baton.
Okay, I would say that even though we have like very nice research ecosystem in Finland, we would like to emphasize we do, as I mentioned, we do speak relatively freely around the business and academia line, but it means, well, it needs trust, and that takes time, so it doesn't necessarily happen overnight that we can collaborate miraculously tomorrow all together. But we need to build it, and we need to work for that, and we need to know with whom to talk and start talking and discussing.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I think you stole my point and already said what I had planned to say about it takes time and you need to build trust, and maybe the way Norwegian or Nordic people from the Nordics and Japan, we are far away, and maybe it takes more time than working together with our European colleagues. But at least my experience, having been here first time in 1991, starting working with the Japanese companies, and I'm really impressed about how we benefit both parts after some years, and the way that the Japanese companies so systematically approach everything and work together to solve the problems. That's really impressive. So I think it takes time, but it will work if we do the connection before the collaboration. So events like this, trying to connect different companies and academia and government institutions, that's the first step here. Yeah.
I'm hearing planning and then execution and sticking to the subject. I think it's 3 good takeouts also. This was actually the last panel for today. If anyone has questions from the audience, we have some minutes for that. Otherwise, we can catch those later to the panel. But thank you for this and contributing and highlighting the cooperation possibilities between Nordics and the Japanese Business Society. Thank you.
So everyone, a big round of applause to all the panelists today. And perhaps one extra round of applause to Gustav, who ran a 3-panelist session marathon. A recurring theme today was the MOU. What is it? It's a framework. It's a platform. And I guess, in a good sense, the content, that's you. So, it means it's there for the taking, and we have a good head start of doing this. It means that we need to talk, it needs that we need to stay connected, and it needs to be said, who can we talk to when we, after this, go to the networking session or the cocktail dinner. For doing this, we will spend some minutes to introduce the other Nordic participants here that unfortunately did not get stage time here today, but I hope you, and I think you would agree that it's a good way to do it instead of having 2 more panel sessions. Then, when I call your name, could you please stand up and make sure that everyone sees you, so it's possible to catch you when we meet up again in the dinner venue. Skellefteå. Yes. Torsboda Industrial Park. Business Region Borås. Vestra Materials. If they are here, they might join us later. Nordic Biographite. I hope they are not started without us. And then Badixt. Cell Life Technologies. Saga Tenix. He might have left for meetings. Eide Material Park. And then Arendal Municipality and Invest in Agder. And of course, we have people working in Japan on a day-to-day basis for being your closest contacts for more information and introduction to exciting Nordic companies. And that's from the TPOs, or the Trade Promotion Offices. So everyone, perhaps give a wave. And with that, please welcome Yoko Söderberg for the closing remarks.
So now we have heard perspectives from across the battery value chain, from materials and recycling to research, innovation, and industrial cooperation. Japan and the Nordics share the same ambitions to accelerate the green transition, strengthen supply chains, and drive innovations. This week's new agreements between European Battery Alliance Recharge and BASC, and between InnoEnergy, JETRO, and the GX agency underline our joint commitment. But agreements are only the beginning. So the key question going forward is, how can we turn these frameworks into concrete cooperations that delivers a real impact for industry, academia, and society in both Japan and the Nordics? And with that, thank you to all speakers and panelists and the participants to your valuable contributions today. Let's continue the dialogue as we move into the reception. On behalf of our organizers, Nordic Innovation, BASC, and our partners, I would also like to thank you, our Japanese and Nordic panelists, industry representatives, public sector colleagues, and everyone who made today possible. So thank you so much for your participation, and please stay networking of the reception. That starts now. Most important, so the reception will take place at the rooftop at the restaurant. So please join outside. I hope it's not raining now. Yeah. Thank you.